distract our mind, like our assistant professor said that we have to find something in order to give a very good value to our life. So in law, of course, we cannot prolong the life of every people, but sometimes we cut short of the people's life through death penalty and so on and so forth. So, okay, what is the meaning of E plus I AF equal to BPS? Next slide. Okay, that is the formula. That is because we need education. We need education plus intellectualism. Because nowadays, because of the digital era, sometimes the people are not using their mind so good in terms of that. Because they say that, okay, if you want to create a letter, just ask ChatGPT and then that's all. ChatGPT will give a very good sentences and then we just follow. We just change a little bit and then we just follow. That's why we need to have what we call that education plus intellectualism under the what we call that academic freedom. So without academic freedom, our friend here, the said professor, cannot do anything. Because when we see, especially in my country, Malaysia, we have more than 20 statutes or laws, okay, that actually restricted the academic freedom. You cannot do that, you cannot do that, you cannot do that. Okay, 20. And when we have this kind of academic freedom, it will come to beyond paradigm shift. That's what happened to our friend here. He can do a lot of things. He can do a research. You also can do a lot of research, and then you also can produce a lot of things that can give benefit to the people. Okay? Okay, next. Okay, I don't want to link to that because the people say that lawyers always put a lot of words. So just to summarize that, we need to have education, intellectualism, academic freedom, and then it will become beyond paradigm shift. So now we cannot think just in this border, 4 wall. We cannot do that. Like in the class nowadays, especially us in Malaysia, we cannot say something about royal, we cannot say something about race, we cannot say something about religion. 3R, we say that, 3 R's. So this kind of thing should be looked again, and then at the end of the day, we should have the guidance so that the people can say anything but with certain borders that can give the people a very good mind beyond paradigm shift. There's the thing. Next. Okay, as the introduction, because we need a balance. Okay, academic freedom is not something that we just give a lot of freedom to everybody. Academic freedom means that we need to conquer the freedom within the academics. Because every people nowadays, even though I'm not a doctor in medical, I want to speak about this kind of medication, Now you can see that a lot of people want to do a lot of marketing. And especially in my country, in Malaysia, even though they don't know about law, also they want to speak about law. They don't know about medic, also they want to speak about medic. They don't know about religion, also they want to speak about religion. At the end of the day, they create a lot of tension. So, that is the thing, we have to explore all these things, and we must plus with intellectualism. So why we need the education? Because we want to develop the knowledge. Without education, you cannot develop the knowledge. Okay, without education, how actually we want to gather today in order to get the knowledge? Cannot. Because we don't know how to read. We don't know how to measure everything. And according to Van Rossum and Hammer, that learning to retain memory. Because when you learn, whatever that I learned last time, when I was in a primary school in 1970s, in primary school, I still remember all these things. And to gain information, okay, You come here and then we learn in the, what we call that, in four walls of our classes, and then we can gain a lot of information. But so pity, that kind of information only contained in that four wall. Means that in our class, but we cannot go beyond that because of a lot of restriction. And we can analyze the fact and appreciate the values. Like our friend here, when we know that this kind of research can give a lot of good values to the people, so we can appreciate that. Okay, we can enhance that from time to time. We can make it better and better and better for the future generation. Okay, the principle of education is to guide the student. Of course, we are the student. Even though we already got PhD, we already obtained our PhD, we already obtained professorship, everything, we are still a student. Because for me, I like to learn from my student. Sometimes I like to learn from my daughter and also son. Because sometimes when they can see something that we cannot see. And during my time also, I still remember my professor, when the professor taught something I cannot understand. It's too high for me. Okay? So the principle of education is to examine through various characters. We look into medical, we look into science, okay? We look into, okay, now we have war between Russia and Ukraine, between Iran and Israel. So why we look into all these things? Because all of them want to go beyond what they have, okay? They say that nuclear weapon, all these things, because they want to stop, because they actually have gone through all this examination in detail about their enemy. Okay, avoiding biasness. So when we have all this knowledge, we are not going to be biased. We always accept others' opinion, because our opinion is not something 100% correct. Cannot. We can say that, okay, this food is very good for us, but not for others. Very sweet and good, but not for me, because I have diabetic. Okay, so we have to avoid biasness and also other things. Okay, and a principle of intellectualism, that is what we must combine and blend it together with education. That is, number one is about to be based on the truth. Nowadays, if you depend on ChatGPT 100%, you are going to be wrong, in the wrong path. A lot of occasion, especially for law, when they want to decide, they depend 100% on ChatGPT. ChatGPT is actually cheating us. For us, it's very easy, isn't it? Okay, ChatGPT, how to make a very good management. Okay, ChatGPT will give everything. For us also, how to decide this case, ChatGPT will give everything. Actually, when I check everything, 80% wrong. Okay, so we have to base on the truth. Shall be applicable to the topic discussed and to strengthen the argument for the truth. That is what intellectualism want to find, the truth. So in order to find the truth, we have to find the true facts. If we don't find any true facts, how to find the truth? Of course cannot. Okay? So that's why we, in order to go through all these things, intellectualism, we need to have somebody who's knowledgeable, and then this kind of person will be given the freedom in order to conduct research, in order to publicize, in order to write research, and so on and so forth. Okay, 3 areas of autonomy, academic autonomy. Number one is individual. Of course, we as individual, we as lecturers, we as a student, we need to have the autonomy. Means that the power. If we don't have the power, it means that we cannot have the freedom. And if we don't have the freedom, we cannot do anything. We cannot develop our nation. We cannot actually bring our nation to be far better. compared to the last generation. Okay? And collegial autonomy is the management of the curriculum. So, but even though this one is very good, but in Malaysia especially, we still have to follow certain rules and regulation. We cannot simply draft our own assessment, our own curriculum. Cannot. We are governed by law. And also institutional autonomy. That is the worst part. Okay, the worst part is about institutional autonomy. We have a University Act in Malaysia that you cannot do this, you cannot do that, you cannot do that, you cannot do that. At the end of the day, you cannot do anything because of autonomy. Is not that. Autonomy actually to the government, not to the people, not to the institution, not to the collegial autonomy. Okay, four primary dimension of academic freedom. We have teaching, of course. But sometimes when we give beyond that, because the mind of the student actually has been, what we call that, prison in the four walls, they cannot accept it. They cannot accept it. Same as us. When I teach the law, I am teaching about comparative law and also constitutional law and also criminal law. They cannot accept it because their mind never been open since the very beginning. Because for us, 1 plus 1 equal to 2, isn't it? For me, 1 plus 1 is not equal to 2. That is what I've been taught by my lecturers. 1 plus 1 equal to 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 0 also. But the thing is, you have to bring your own facts. Why 1 plus 1 equal to 0? They quarrel between each other and then they kill between each other, 0. 1 plus 1, they marry each other and then they get children. How many? I don't know. Okay? Okay, we have research and publication. Of course, that's why we are gathering now, because we want to make a research. Research is never ending story. Okay? When you find something else, it will be go beyond and beyond and beyond. Never ending story. So that's why we must conduct our research. We cannot just conduct, okay, only this particular thing and then we stop. No. Research is something that beyond, because like when you want to write your PhD, isn't it? There is only one word that we can write 500 pages. Like me, I read about libel, or I read about freedom. I have to write 500 pages, because after that the people will write more and more and more. Okay, that's research. And then when you have conduct your research, you have written your findings, you cannot just put under the table and then just, okay, I'm very happy because my research is 500 pages, 300 pages, and then that's all. No, you have to publish. When you publish, the people will read and the people will comment. Don't worry about the people's comment. Don't worry. There's something that the usual thing happen. Okay, when you want to publish, sometimes they reject 10 times. Okay, even my paper also, when I send to the Scopus, at the very beginning, they reject, and then I send again, and then make amendment, and then they accept it. Okay, intramural speech means that the speech that only confined in your class. Okay, extramural speech beyond that. Okay, so this is the law in Malaysia. They restrict our freedom of speech, assembly, association, and publication. A lot more. Okay, this is only Malaysia only. If we look into the world, I've compiled it in my research that more than 15. Okay, that we have all these things. Okay, starting from constitutional law. In Malaysia, constitutional law is considered as the mother of the law. If the mother of the law already restricted our freedom, so how about all the son and the daughter of the law? Cannot do anything. Cannot do anything. You see here, every university, they have their own constitution, and that constitution has actually give the restriction towards what we call as freedom of speech in Malaysia. So, in conclusion, what we have to do is we have to embed the academic freedom in teaching and learning, and then we give the freedom to our students especially. Okay, because we are academics, so we give the freedom. For my class, I give the freedom to my student. If they come from the other political parties, if they come from other religion also, you can give your own opinion, but please provide your supporting evidence. You just cannot, you cannot just say that, okay, that is wrong. Why? Because wrong. Cannot say that. But you have to couple with supporting evidence. So that's why my class is very open. You want to say something? Okay, say it. But not outside the class, because in Malaysia we have 3 R's there. 3R, okay? We cannot actually touch that. So, freedom. And then, the most important thing also, we have to give the freedom to the institution in terms of give them the freedom of speech, so that we can give them beyond the paradigm shift that we can write a lot of things. Now I'm writing about freedom of speech in one country in Southeast Asia, but I cannot do more because that country actually the freedom of speech is very low. If I say something, I also can be, I face the law of that particular country. So higher education especially, okay lah. For primary and secondary school, okay, no problem, because they are guided. But for university, supposed to be, that is the time for us to think and think, never-ending thinking, and give the chance to the people, to the student, to express their opinion in terms of always coupled with the evidence. Okay, that is the guided one. We cannot just say something without the evidence. And we should give the academic autonomy. Like here also, if we are not given the authority, we are not given the, what we call that, the freedom, so how can we talk something that we want to say to our people here, to our friend here? So we cannot do that. And of course, the monitoring system should be there. Okay, of course. But always I say that it should have what we call that monitoring system that coupled with the truth. That is the law. If we are not coupled with the truth, everybody can say, everybody can cause a lot of problem, everybody can do a lot of things, but at the end of the day, what happened to the society? They are living in havoc and chaosity. So that's why freedom, academic freedom is very, very important. Without the academic freedom, you cannot do your research. You cannot conduct your research. You cannot teach. You cannot publish. You cannot, what we call that, do your research and also other things. Even you want to write a book, also cannot. Okay? So we have to look into this critically. But Malaysia now is developing on that. It's going to be okay and okay and okay. Before this, if we say something, we have what we call that Internal Security Act, ISA. Okay, Internal Security Act 1960 in Malaysia, they can arrest you without warrant, without any reason that can actually, they can tell you. They are not going to tell you, they just arrest you and then put you in prison for 2 years. After that, you been released, and then they can take again, put you again 2 years, until 10 years, until never ending story. So, for me, when we give the freedom, coupled with the truth, coupled with the supporting document or evidence, we can go beyond paradigm shift. If not, don't think about we are going to develop a critical minded people. We are going to have a very good human capital in the future. We are going to create somebody who can think out of the box, cannot. So it is in our hand actually to change all these things to become the world that actually depend on the truth and supported by the evidence, and at the end of the day, it become beyond paradigm shift. Okay, thank you. Any question?